You might be the picture of the rest of my life, blue-clad, shining as an heir apparent's wife. Bring a smile to cut me open like a sandwich maker's knife. You might be the claimant of the last of my love, swooping from the ocean like the ark builder's dove, taking your place within as if I were your glove. And you might be the one for whom I write my final word, with a quill from your florid hair, the mystery inferred, as you telling me you love becomes the last I ever heard. Hello. It's Tuesday, 4 o'clock, and I'm reading some poems for you again. Hope you're well. I call it birthday edition because it is my birthday. Funny how it always feels difficult to say that, sometimes at least. And the poems I've chosen, what I've done, well, the other day I read a bunch of poems that were 10 years old this year, and that had me looking back at things from the past. And so I thought what I would do is I'd leap back again 10 years or so and pick a poem from each of the years between now and then. See if there's any link between them, seeing if there's any progression made. So I'll begin those very shortly. The one I read at the very beginning, which is probably as any of you were jumping in and missing half of it, I'll read that again at the end. Appropriately enough, that one is called Last. So, I hope you're well. I can't actually tell, I always say this, who's there to listen or see this. I don't actually know unless you send me a message, say hello, type a little word. If you fancy doing that, I'd be glad to see it. But don't worry, it's not a problem. Just dip in and out as you fancy. So, I said I'd go back to it's not the earliest poems, but some of the earlier poems I did from maybe 10 years ago or so. So let's have a look. Here's one from 2010. I'm always a bit shy about this because I feel like, oh, how clumsy they are. Anyway, 2010, and it's called The View. We walked, you and I, through a gorgeous summerland, not thinking to touch, but gazing together at exciting horizons. You might have hurried on, but elected to stay, while I pulled stones from my shoe, spilled a brew, shared what was left of it with you, and your nearness went unnoted. The talk was of others and places and how it all worked, pointing each to threads that wove this intricate, intimate web. We might have kissed, but that would mean closing our eyes. And besides, we were already blind to that, instead standing shoulder by shoulder. The next day, of course, we looked for so much more of the same, coming together again. But expectation jars, memory grasping at happiness past. Then, unsure how to go, feeling the lack, we looked at each other at last. And now we dare not break our gaze, but keep our eyes locked, afraid to speak what we see, the view draining away. There's a few that have that sort of unsureness of relationships, of being with someone. The double feeling of attraction and, I wouldn't say repulsion, but a need for freedom perhaps. Don't know. Anyway, so one from each year. But I'm already skipping one because I'm skipping 2011. I read a whole bunch of those the other day. So, and 2012 was the very first poem I wrote, and I'll repeat it at the end. So I'm skipping forward to 2013. To a poem that has some similarities to that first one, just gone. And it's called Adjoining Rooms. From the moment that they met, they found they were an open door to one another. Rooms adjoined, but never shared, were free to roam, and shutters opened easily, light admitted, bouncing onto dust from open windows, air stirred up from untrod floors, from untouched shelves, and floated motes of children happy on the swirl. She wandered safe in him, through richly furnished libraries and rooms, fed from his kitchen, watched the flowers bloom beside her feet, was taken to his bed. He wandered gently through her silent halls, those rooms where none had entered in, with ornament and grace on every stone and curve of wood, sometimes standing only on the threshold, stretching long and tender fingers, mighty arms. Between them they became a single house, a single roof, one set of rooms, a flight of stairs, and moved their furniture around, about. It was a happy house. Did they ever need to try the unlocked door that would not open? She had to look, and somehow so did he, allowing the handle to her hand. What was it told her not to turn? He had to look. Perhaps he would not see. A palm upon the board, a push that never came, too much to learn. When something is so open and so free, each secret, any door that's closed and barred, it is certain to transform a sigh into a scream, to fill the empty space with something scarred. When every wall has been dismantled, every floor and beam removed, and window glass hard flung across the stone, the room remains in space no longer marked, but unlocked doors that will not open. We keep instead in memory the jams of those doors we could not reach or could not close. Adjoining Rooms. This one I hope is a bit more optimistic. Though again, it's still aligned with that harsh line of Saturn that constricts and squashes and almost oppresses for the good it can create. From 2014, this one, A Spell of Seasons. I shall be your winter, half a world away, and I shall take a hold on all that is not wanted, see it dissipated by the cold, and only what is necessary will remain. Watch me, turning red, then grey, as famine starve the life from out the wolf, and prey on all the hidden villains in the wood. Stood naked, beneath the barren trees, amidst their stolen trinkets all, they fall and freeze. For you shall be my summer, safe, half a world away. As the wind blows the night around me, you shall grow. And all the wise men in the dark will know that somewhere on the other side is green and not afraid. And you shall skip amongst the lambs, and in returning waters warm, with only things that love alive, and none to do you harm. And then, as autumn comes to you from half a world away, as springtime comes to me, then you may come back home again, both loved and free. You call that a spell, because it is a kind of a spell, a kind of a prayer, a kind of a wish for something to be. A similar theme of growth and then wilting, of renewal in this one, very short one, from 2015 called Once Again. I watch you as the wilting of the rose within my hand, and though I fear, I know you as the slender stem, open to the rain, naked in the sun, tender in the wind, holding to its roots that will bud and bring forth flowers. Once again. What else have we here? Here's a bit of a departure from that, perhaps. Kind of a normal one. This is like another plea, another wish, another prayer. This one is called Attention Seeker. Speak as though you were saving my life. I need to feel seen. I need sirens. Speak like a rescuer cutting the wreckage away. Talk as if you were talking me down on my side of the wall. Offer perspective. Inch your way closer, closer than traffic. Treat me like an emergency stop. I need the squeal of your brakes, the breeze at my thigh, my looking up dazed at your look. Lift me like a 1,000-year secret found in the dirt, gentle as brushes. Discuss how this changes our view of the past. Gaze at me like the meteor coming, extinction event, kissing the atmosphere. Accept me like the end of the world. I'm not. attention seeker. How are we doing? Like I say, I can't necessarily tell who's watching and who's not. Let's see if I can get any of the messages from you. Katie, hello, thank you. Happy birthday, no, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to me. Bernie, thank you, hello. And Kathy, Suz, again, yes, good, thank you. Yay. Anybody else? Anyway, for the moment, let me jump on a little bit and come back, but thank you so much. Where have we got to? That last was from 2016. I want to do one now. This one I wrote in part for myself, of course, but also for those parents who, for whatever reason, are unable to be with their children. And I suppose initially it was for those absent parents, but of course it doesn't apply just to them. So this is for any parent who is not currently able to be with their kids, of which there must be that many more because of lockdown and such, of whatever age they are, because it doesn't go away. It's called Absent Distant. And it's in 4 parts, 4 little parts. Something of his soul leapt out, caught by something of hers, and together found flesh. Cut from him by her lips, her grip, held by her on a blood wall. And never, as so often before, expected to be heard from again. Unexpected, the shunt, clamorous call of a dropped limb calling to its maker, mine, mine. He recognises the burn marks, speaks the same language, even when mother holds her tongue, sees reflection in the eyes of a half-soul whole. Hears it from a world away, hears it in his veins, her veins, hears it, both stood in the same space. Child, eruption, communion, and also something never been before. Never. The world has had to make room. And absence, distance, has become a killing thing. If God's children were cast from the garden, the dark expelled from the light, the earth from the sea, and each of us a separate thing for his eternity, perhaps he does know, might know, the absent parent's dire agony, ofttimes forgotten just in order to survive. Mandisa, hello. Oh, wonderful. All right. I was at this point because I've been reading poems from other poets as a kind of a special guest, but I wanted very much to read a poem of my mum's, because although my dad was the writer and the journalist and my mum was more with her hands and the artist, I don't think my dad did write poetry, and I was surprised to find that my mum had done. So this may be from my mum. But in spite of a frantic search, which almost got me late for my own deadline, I couldn't find it. So I'll do it another day instead, because birthdays are very much about the mother doing the bearing. I'm going to read this one, which I don't think I've ever read before. No, I've never read it before. I don't think I've even shared it. So you can tell I'm a little bit nervous because my lips are seizing up. Any road. This is to do with my first son and his mum. And it's named for him Cullentra. We were lovers in a land of giants. On a boulder, smooth as egg and grey, by a lake, still as a waiting breath, on a mountain top high as the world can reach. The sky undressed us. The sun anointed us both and removed the sorrows between us. Your eyes carried their fire once more. Your hair was alive again. You shone whiter than purity. It was a moment of deliverance, a saving grace, a promise of life for you, a piece of me surrendered. Mothers and fair folk danced in a reel, tying the knots, weaving the wolf, the young cub you would carry. Hero to so many. For my eldest lad and his mum. There are we. So, no special guest today, but the next ones will be. Going through a bunch of poems, choosing one from each year for the last few years. And this one from 2018 is kind of appropriate for a birthday when you think back on all the years gone and think ahead at all the years to come. It's probably a familiar feeling to people of my years and more, that you sometimes wonder if you've got the energy to last as long as you need to. And I guess this reflects on it at this point. I suppose it is at this point when I carry all my past years gathered up in arms that know a limit to their strength, that felt so light before, and when I carry also all those years to come, knowing now a day's wait, a night's, wondering how long these must be borne for. It is at this point that I need a gentle voice to say, the years past will carry themselves, and those to come will lighten one by one as each is put away. I remember experiencing a sigh of relief when that poem first came, and I looked back at it and listened to it as if I was an audience for the first time. Oh, yes, that is a relief. 2019, a couple of years ago. Similar theme to the last, perhaps, because it's called Acceptance is Quiet. All from a dark room, quiet night, falling. Can't even see the breath I'm gonna take. Except the light there is bullets to the brain, is the hurtling I'm stepping on the tracks for. You'd be here with me in another world. I'd take a bite, find you between my teeth, and you'd say, here are the words I'd only ever clench down on, swallowed up, checked like vomit in the shyness, coyness, keep this. You'd be with me. You'd be me in another world. You wouldn't let me act. Wouldn't let me take that face ramming in my chest, in. You wouldn't sleep. Heartbeat in the dark, held on a pinprick, on a fingertip, nailed in the sky of a quiet night, hung by the heart. Known and not minded, but as it is. Acceptance is quiet. (2019) coming to 2020 and even 2021. I poured out 3 from 2020 as it goes. Do I do all of them? I'll do this one. I was reading last year a book about the elves in Old English literature and folklore. It suggested a number of poems, including this one, from the word Aelf-sîden, which effectively means elf-ridden, and refers, amongst other things, to nightmares, but also to the magic of throwing out your own spirit, of travelling elsewhere, and then maybe coming back later on. To all the burly warriors, that was seen as a unmanly kind of magic, which is why I quite like it. There is a magic called unmanly, though I put it on for you. I tuck myself away, lie down like a dishcloth, swallow my tongue, and I burst from myself like a breast, leaping dove-like over ether through a wended way, travel over all my feeling, trailing ribbons from my claw, dropping feathers as flame to light my way back to you, to me. Till I see you, I am only gasping, grappling for air. Till I see you, I am expulsion. Till I see you, do I look or look away? If I look at you, I will blare. But this magic is unmanly, so I take you in, untouched, ride you like a mare. But of course it's only in my mind, in my gorge, on the bone beneath my belly, while in the corner, my left behind seethes, wishing, 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 wishing. How are you doing? Are you good? I hope so. I hope you're safe today and all's well today. I think I would like to do 2 more and then I'll reprise the first one I did. These 2 both from 2020. I remember I was wise once, where now I just dream, preempting it all by closing the door, forgetting forgetting for. The earliest thing I felt is still the strongest thing I feel. What we grow around, eh? And you, imperative, already within the fences, the newest thing. Slightest crack of the door ajar. No point closing it. Perhaps I'll be wise again one day. That was called Come Kiss Me. And this last but one from last year. It's lovely to be inspired by books that you read, and you pick it up and start reading a paragraph and then no, I've got to put this book down to write. I've got to write something. And this one comes from a folk tale. In which that familiar thing of somebody being kind to a stranger, finding themselves rewarded much later because that someone they helped was a fairy or a witch or someone able. The call of love. There is a stream runs through these hills like fairies on horseback. Fare you well, dearest beloved. And trees that stand as trumpeters in strands, cheeks blown, dancers among them. Fare you well, dearest beloved. Scarp sides in a bowl-like embrace, overlooking like mamma and papa. Fare you well, dearest beloved. Small birds tugging at my hem for me to listen. There is a way the sky seems asleep on the field, hare and fox shedding fur together. Fare you well, dearest beloved. There is a way the red earth flows this morning, kind to my feet, holding my hand. Fare you well, dearest beloved. There is a way that the growing things have opened over a threshold, under a lintel. Fare you well, dearest beloved. I was kind to them as I travelled. I wish I could go back. Fare you well, dearest beloved. Cherry, hello, I keep wanting to say happy birthday back and people wish me a happy birthday. Yes, you have one too. Everybody have a happy birthday today. I'd love that. Just to reprise this last one from before. I might do this again in future readings, choose one from each preceding year and see what journey it takes us on. I've been reading these every other day during this present locking. And so if you fancy listening to some more, I'll be back the day after tomorrow with some other ones. In the meantime, let me wish you all the very best. Much joy and love and safety. And repeat this one that I began right at the beginning when no one had time to log in. Called Lust. She might be the picture of the rest of my life. Blue-clad, shining, as an heir-apparent's wife. Brings a smile to cut me open like a sandwich maker's knife. She might be the claimant for the last of my love. Swoops from the ocean like the ark builder's dove. Takes her place within, as if I were her glove. and she might be the one for whom I write my final word, with a quill from her flurried hair, the mystery inferred. As her telling me she loves, becomes the last I've ever heard. Thank you all so much. Keep well. Take care.